Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are doing the third part of our History of Blockchain series. In this episode, we're going to take a look at how blockchains evolve to be more scalable and more useful for people. But before we get into all that, let's do a quick recap from part 2. So if you haven't seen my other videos in this series yet, basically, I've been going over the history of blockchain because it's such an interesting topic and there's a lot of misconceptions about how early blockchain really was and how far we've come. So in part 2, we talked about how everything started with Bitcoin, and then we saw the introduction of Ethereum and the idea of smart contracts. We saw the rise of different consensus mechanisms like proof of work, and then new ideas started popping up like proof of stake. Now, where do we go from here? Well, Ethereum and different blockchain projects needed more than just smart contract capabilities. They needed to be able to support more things without sacrificing the decentralization, transparency, and immutability of their networks. That's when we started to see the first signs of what would eventually become Blockchain 3.0, which is really all about interoperability and scalability. Let's start by talking about the scalability trilemma, because that's one of the main issues that all blockchains face. So in the beginning, we had Bitcoin, and Bitcoin was built to be a currency, and it worked really well for that. But as time went on, people started realizing that Bitcoin couldn't really scale and grow much more than it already had. That's where we saw Ethereum kind of take off and be able to do so many other things that Bitcoin just wasn't capable of doing. However, Ethereum also faced the same limitations as Bitcoin did, which is why we saw the rise of what's called a Layer 2 solution. Basically, there are 3 different layers of blockchain. You have your base layer, which is the original blockchain that's fully decentralized and transparent. Then you have your Layer 2 solutions, which is basically scaling solutions that run alongside the base layer to help process transactions faster and cheaper. And then you have your Layer 3 solutions, which are applications that run on top of the Layer 2 solutions. Now, there are many different ways to accomplish this and many different types of Layer 2 solutions. But some examples of popular Layer 2 solutions include rollups and state channels. The way I think about Layer 2 solutions is imagine a highway and a carriageway. Both are capable of moving a lot of cars, but a highway is much faster and more efficient. In the same way, a blockchain is capable of storing and moving around data, but a Layer 2 solution is much faster and more efficient, allowing the blockchain to scale and handle more traffic. That's what makes Layer 2 solutions so important for the future of blockchains. They allow blockchains to be more usable for everyday people. Another way that we're seeing interoperability and scalability come together is with projects like Polkadot and Cosmos. These 2 projects are kind of like bridges between different blockchains. For example, Polkadot allows developers to build different blockchains that can communicate with each other. So instead of having all these separate blockchains that don't talk to each other, Polkadot allows them to work together. In the same way, Cosmos is trying to do the same thing. It's trying to make it so that all these different blockchains can work together. These 2 projects are so important because they're essentially solving the issue of interoperability, which has been a huge problem for blockchains. One of the main problems with blockchains is that they're all separate and don't talk to each other. This makes it hard to move assets between blockchains, which makes it hard to use them in real life. But projects like Polkadot and Cosmos are helping to solve this problem. They're making it easier to move assets between blockchains, and they're making it easier to use them in real life. Now, as all of these projects are working towards the same goal of making blockchains more scalable and more interoperable, we're also seeing new consensus mechanisms emerge. One of the most popular ones is proof of stake. Proof of stake is a consensus mechanism that was created to try to improve upon proof of work. With proof of work, miners had to buy expensive equipment to set up mining rigs. Not only that, but they also consumed a ridiculous amount of electricity, which made it hard for regular people to participate in the network. Proof of stake changed all of that. Instead of buying expensive equipment, people could now stake their coins. By staking their coins, they were showing that they were invested in the network and that they wanted it to succeed. This made it easier for regular people to participate in the network, and it also made it more efficient. Now, as all of this is happening, Ethereum is gearing up to launch its highly anticipated upgrade to Ethereum 2.0. This upgrade will introduce a number of changes, but the most important one is that it will move Ethereum from a proof-of-work consensus mechanism to a proof-of-stake consensus mechanism. This is a big deal because it will make Ethereum much more scalable and much more efficient. As all this is going on, blockchain is starting to have an impact on more and more industries. We're starting to see projects that are using blockchain to disrupt traditional industries. For example, there are projects that are using blockchain to track the movement of goods in the supply chain industry. There are also projects that are using blockchain to store medical records in the healthcare industry. Finance is another industry that is being disrupted by blockchain. Projects like Ripple are using blockchain to make it easier and faster to send money around the world. Now, while all of these projects are using public blockchains, there are also projects that are using private blockchains. Private blockchains are blockchains that are not public. They're used by a specific group of people, and they're often used for business purposes. One of the most popular private blockchains is Hyperledger. Hyperledger is a blockchain platform that is used by businesses to share data and transact with each other. As all of this is happening, it becomes clear that blockchain is not just a fad. It's a technology that is here to stay, and it's a technology that has the potential to change the world. Now, while blockchain has come a long way, there's still a lot of challenges that need to be solved. Now let's take a look at where we stand today. In the past few years, we've seen a lot of innovation in the blockchain space. We've seen the rise of NFTs, or non-fungible tokens. We've seen the rise of DeFi, or decentralized finance. And we've seen the rise of play-to-earn games. All of this innovation has been driven by the need for blockchain to be more scalable and more useful. In the coming years, we're likely to see even more innovation as blockchain continues to evolve. That will be all for part 3. If you want to learn more about the history of blockchain, check out my other videos in this series. In the final part, we will discuss the rise of NFTs, decentralized finance, and the future of blockchain. Thank you guys for watching this video. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you have not. I will see you in the next video.